Hello and welcome to this tutorial on Mendeley Basics. If you're unfamiliar with Mendeley, it's a free citation management tool that you can use to collect and organize articles, books, websites, and other resources you need for your research and coursework. It's similar to EndNote, RefWorks, and Zotero, which you may be familiar with. After this tutorial, you will know how to use Mendeley to manage your references. You will be able to add a variety of different resources to Mendeley, and you will be able to use Mendeley to create in-text citations and bibliographies in Microsoft Word. To get started with Mendeley, go to their website at mendeley.com to sign up for a free account and download the Mendeley desktop client. A link to Mendeley's website is also listed on the library's My USA page under our referencing section. So here's Mendeley's homepage, and you can click to create a free account and go through the steps to download the Mendeley desktop client. I won't show you that as it's a pretty straightforward process, and you can see that you can download Mendeley for free on Macs, PCs, and they also have mobile applications so that you can access Mendeley across a variety of devices and get your research anywhere, no matter what device you're using. Once you've created your account and downloaded the desktop client, you then want to open the desktop client on your computer, and I have mine open here. As you can see, I don't have any resources in Mendeley yet, and we'll go through how to add those in just a moment. But first, you want to do a final few setup steps. And so you want to go to Tools, and you want to make sure that you install the web importer and install the Microsoft Word plugin. So the web importer just puts this nice Save to Mendeley button here on your browser's bookmark bar. And this is good for if you're on PubMed or you're on a website and you want to save that page or that article to Mendeley. You just click Save to Mendeley and it'll add the record in for you. It makes it pretty quick, and I'll demonstrate that in just a moment. You also want to make sure, of course, that you have the Word plugin installed, because this connects Mendeley to Microsoft Word, and that's makes it so when you're on Word writing your paper, doing your assignment, it then allows Word to connect with Mendeley to let Mendeley do the citations and the bibliography for you. The final thing that you want to do is go to View and click on Citation Style and make sure that you select the citation style that you need for your assignment. So I have it selected on American Medical Association, but you see they have a variety of styles available, like American Psychological Association or any of these others. You can click on More Styles to get a full list of citation styles that work with Mendeley. But let's keep it on American Medical Association. So now that I've finished setting everything up, I'm ready to add resources to my Mendeley account. And there are 4 different ways that you can add resources into Mendeley that I'll walk you through briefly now. The first one is to use the Save to Mendeley web importer. So let's go to PubMed. So I've pulled up this article on PubMed, and let's say I need to use this article in an assignment. I need to cite it in an assignment, so I want to add it into Mendeley so that Mendeley will cite it for me. And how I do that is I just make sure I'm on the article page in PubMed, which I am, and then I just click Save to Mendeley. And this little box will come up on the right showing that it's saving. If you're not signed into Mendeley, it'll ask you to do that, so let me sign in. And then once it's signed in, you'll click Continue Saving and Save again. And then now you'll go back to Mendeley. You want to hit Sync. And now the record for this article pops up in Mendeley. The first thing you always want to do after you've added an article or other resource into Mendeley is to go over here on the right under Details and make sure it pulled all of the information correctly. So you want to make sure this was a journal article, so it is correct. The type is journal article, but if that was not correct, you could go in and choose the correct option, but we'll keep it. You want to make sure it pulled the full title, so I kind of scanned the title versus what it has here in PubMed. Did it grab all of the authors? I can already see one mistake that it made here. Under Journal, the journal title should just be, as we can see in PubMed, Pediatric Physical Therapy. We don't need this other info that it's the official publication of a section on pediatrics of the APTA. That's not necessary. So if you want to edit to take that out, you would just click in the box, and then I'm going to highlight that and click Delete. So just that now we have it so that the journal title is correct, is just Pediatric Physical Therapy. So if you see mistakes like that Mendeley didn't pull something correctly, it added too much info, or didn't include something that should have been included, you can just click in the box and then make edits. Take out this period. period, or if it didn't pull, whoops, I didn't mean to click that. If it didn't pull the all of the authors, you could click in there and add an author if needed. So you always just want to scan the details to make sure everything in this is correct. Because if it's not correct here in Mendeley's details, the Mendeley will not do the citation correctly when you go into Microsoft Word and have it do the citation in your paper. So you always want to make sure it's correct over here. Another thing that you can do, if you once you're scrolling down details, you see that you can add files. So if you wanted to add the full text PDF of this article into Mendeley, you can. It's not necessary to have the full text in Mendeley for it to do the citations correctly, but some people may want to add the PDFs just to keep everything organized in one place. And so if you wanted to do that, go back to PubMed. I see that the USA Shield is here under full text links, so our library does have full text access to this article. I downloaded it earlier, so I'm just going to go back to Mendeley, click Add File, go to where I have that file saved on my computer, select it, and now that PDF is here in Mendeley with the record. So again, you don't have to have the full text, but if you want to keep everything organized in Mendeley, you can add it in. A second reason why you might want to add the full text when available into Mendeley is because you can double click on the record then, and it will open up the full text so that you can read it within Mendeley. And this is also great because you can also not only read the full text within Mendeley, but you can annotate the article in Mendeley. So you can highlight sections, or you can add notes, about the article and have it all saved into one place. And you can also go here on the right and click notes and add general notes about the article as well as other annotations. So that's another reason why you might want to add in full text PDFs when you can into Mendeley, but you certainly don't have to do that. You just need the basic record details of the article or whatever type of resource you're using in order for Mendeley to make citations for you. So that's how you use the Save to Mendeley button. It does usually work pretty well with PubMed, I found, with only some, maybe a few minor mistakes like pulling too much info as it did with the journal title. But for the most part, it works great with PubMed. And it usually works pretty well with other websites. So if, say, you're on APTA's website and you needed to cite a page, some information from a page on their website, you could use Save to Mendeley to pull that info in. I have found, though, that the Save to Mendeley button does not always work well with other databases like ProQuest or our SearchUSA tool. It doesn't seem to always pull info correctly on those databases, unfortunately. However, there is another way that you can pull in article records from those databases, and that will be the second way that you can import items into Mendeley. So I'll show you that now. So we'll go to SearchUSA here, and I have the search that I've already done on SearchUSA. And let's say I want this article. I know I'm going to use this article. I need to cite it for an assignment. So I'm going to click on the record, or on the title, to pull up the record of the article. And now I need to get this info into Mendeley. And so instead of using the Save to Mendeley button, which doesn't work that great on SearchUSA, unfortunately, I'm going to instead go over here to Tools on the right side of the page, and then go to Export. So you click on Export. This pulls up the SearchUSA Export Manager, and you always want to select the IRS format option. No matter whether you're on SearchUSA, ProQuest, or another database that has one of these export options, you always want to choose RIS. That's what works best with Mendeley, and it works best with other reference managers like Zotero or EndNote. So I've got that selected. Now I choose Save. So you have two options here. You can choose to open it and then select Mendeley, so it'll open with Mendeley. This usually works well. I've been having a problem with it working well on PCs lately. On Macs, it's still working fine with me, but there seems to be currently a glitch with the PC, with using it with PCs, so I'm going to not use that for this demonstration, but instead I'm just going to click Save File so that it will save this file to my Downloads folder. So I say OK. That's saved, and then I open up the Mendeley desktop client again. I go to File, Import IRS option again, and then I know I want to go to my Downloads and choose it from there, and then say Open, and now that record's in my Mendeley. So again, you can export save, and then either choose to save it or to open. If you use a Mac, the open with Mendeley seems to be working correctly, but there seems to be a glitch with PCs, so you might want to choose the save to downloads. So that's how you would import something into Mendeley from Search USA. And once again, like I said, it's always best once you add something in to go through the details to make sure everything is correct. One thing I've noticed that it seems to do with Search USA is under pages, it adds the page numbers for the article, and then it'll say, the number of pages total. So it's 7 pages, and we don't need that info for the citation, so you want to delete that out. So that's why, again, it's always good to double check these details. If you were on PubMed, or not PubMed, if you were on ProQuest, instead of saying export, if you have an article like this one on ProQuest that you want to save, you just click the save option. So you'd go save, and once again, you'd go RIS, and choose that. And whoops, there seems to be a little error. Let's try it again. Save, RIS. And then I just keep everything as its default. Now it's starting to download. And again, you do save file. And we go back to Mendeley. We go to file. We go to import to RIS. And here it is in my downloads folder. And now we have this article pulled in. And once again, you go through and try to make sure, you want to go through and make sure everything's correct under details. So that's the second way to add articles or other types of resources into Mendeley, is to see if the database you're on has a save or an export link, and to choose the RIS option. The third way that you can add items into Mendeley is to do it manually. If you go to File, you have an option to add entry manually. If you click that, it'll open up this little box where you can add information for a new document. The default, again, is it always goes to journal article, but journal articles, you can probably use the Save to Mendeley button or an export button, as I just showed you. Really what the add entry manually option is best for is maybe if you're adding in a book, you need to cite something from a book, or something like a television broadcast or a bill, something like that. Definitely books are probably, this is a good option for books. You would choose then the type of book, and then you can go through and manually type in the title, author, year, all the kind of publication info, everything that you would need for a citation. So it's a bit more time consuming. It's not as easy, so that's why I would say it's probably kind of the last option to use if the Save to Mendeley button or an export function wouldn't work. Then you would choose maybe to add it manually yourself. So that's the third way, adding entry manually. The final way that you can add resources into your Mendeley account is Mendeley will allow you to either add files by clicking the Add File button. So you go to Add Files, then maybe go to Desktops or Documents and add files that way. Or you can always drag and drop PDFs or other documents into Mendeley. So if I have this PDF saved on my desktop and I want it in my Mendeley, I just drag it over. And then it pulls the information from the PDF, so you can see it's pulled. It recognizes that this PDF is of a journal article, and then it automatically pulled in the title, authors, the journal, all of the info that you needed. Again, you might want to open up the article and just double check, is everything correct? Did it pull all of the authors and all of the info correctly? And you can do that again by just opening up the PDF, full text PDF in Mendeley. This option, adding PDFs either by adding files or dragging and dropping, dragging and dropping them works pretty well most of the time. Occasionally, if it's a PDF that has been scanned from print, it won't work. It won't pull out the details if it's something that's scanned from print, but if it's a PDF that you downloaded from a database, especially if it's a more recent article, then it usually is able to pull the details out, the article details out from that PDF pretty well. But if it doesn't, then again, you can always just click in to these different sections, title, author, and write in the information yourself. So that's the fourth way that you can add records and resources into your Mendeley account. So now that I have these 4 articles in my Mendeley account, what you might want to do after you start adding stuff is maybe create folders and organizing them a bit. So you just go under my library here. You can click create folders, and then you might, one option could be maybe creating folders for different assignments, or you can create folders for different courses. Maybe you want to create a folder for your PEDS course. And then once you go to all documents, you can start dragging articles to the folder that they belong in. So maybe I want this McCain article in the case reports folder. And I click now, it's there. Your articles or your resources will forever always live under all documents. So if you forget where you put something, you can't find it in a folder, just go back to all documents and you can find it there. You can also go up here in the top right and search. So if you're saying, oh, I know there was an article by someone with the last name Levy, but I can't find where I put it, you can start typing in Levy and then it will pull it up for you. Or you can use any, say if you remember the title but not the author, you can search by that. So that's an easy way to find records that you've put in there if you can't remember, maybe which folder you stuck them in. So that's a great way to organize. It's by folder. You can also under here create groups, and this is good if maybe you're working on a group project and all the people in your group use Mendeley. You create a private group where you can all kind of share resources together and make it kind of really easy to work and share resources and articles with each other. So that's why you might want to use the create group function. So now that I have resources in Mendeley, it's time to show you how it connects with Microsoft Word when you're writing a paper and you want to cite some of these resources. So I pull up Microsoft Word here, and let's say I want to cite, I need a citation after this first sentence. So I put my cursor after my period, and then when you're in Word, you always want to go to the References tab here. And you can see once you've installed the Word plugin, it puts the Mendeley Cite-O-Matic tool right here under References. It could be kind of confusing because you also see citations and bibliography here. This is Microsoft Word's built-in citation tool, so you don't want to use that because you could use it maybe if you're using APA, but it does not have American Medical Association style available in it, so it wouldn't work for that. So that's why you always want to make sure you're on the Mendeley Cite-O-Matic and using Mendeley's one and not Microsoft Word's one. So once you're ready to add citations, you go to your Mendeley Cite-O-Matic and you just hit Insert Citation. And it pulls up a nice little search box here that will search your Mendeley desktop client. So let's say I want to add in that McCain article. So I just started typing MC, and you can see it just pulls up any article or records in Mendeley that match these letters I've entered. So I know I want this first one. And I just select it, and there you put it in, and I say OK. And now it's formatting my citation. And again, you can always go to Style if you need to change it to APA. You could do that. Or you could change it back to AMA, which is what we want. So I've put that in, and then let's add another one. Again, go to Insert Citation, and this time instead of searching here in this box, I'm going to choose the Go to Mendeley option. You click that, it takes you back to your Mendeley desktop client, and then you can select references from there to add. So let's say I wanted to add maybe this first article, and I hit select it, and then I hit Cite. And there we go. Now it's put the citation in there for me. If you ever need to edit a citation, maybe you made a mistake or you realize you need to add a second citation or a page number into your citation, all you need to do is highlight the citation number. So number 2, click Edit Citation up here. And then I can either maybe need to add additional reference. I can do that there. Or if I wanted to add a page number, then I just click on the citation and I can do that. So say I want to do page 25. Or something like that. I add it, say OK, and now it puts the page number in there. So that's how you edit any citations, or if I need to add a second citation, again, edit, and let's say I need to add McCain here as well. So I do that, and now it's put that citation in there too. So it's pretty quick and easy and straightforward doing in-text citation using the Mendeley Cytomatic in Word. So now that you've added all your citations for your paper, you need to do the bibliography, and that's pretty simple as well. All you have to do once you've finished adding all of your in-text citations is just click Insert Bibliography, and boom, it does the bibliography for you. Just like how you kind of check all the details when you add stuff into your Mendeley desktop, you also want to check to make sure it's doing the citations correctly, because Mendeley can make mistakes. So I always want to go through and say, does this look like the correct format to cite a journal article in AMA? So it's good to be familiar, make sure you know what citations should look like for the style that you're using, so that you can double check and say, is everything correctly? Should something be capitalized that isn't capitalized? Is it doing the abbreviated journal titles correctly? You just double check everything for yourself, and it looks like everything is correct here. So we don't need to make any edits. But if you did, of course, you could just start typing in there and make the, change anything that needed to be changed. But this looks like it's done everything correctly. So that's how you use Mendeley, how you add resources to your Mendeley desktop client, the 4 different ways, and how you then use Mendeley to create your in-text citations and your bibliography in Microsoft Word. If you have any questions or you need further help, Mendeley has a lot of useful resources available on its website. They have a whole community, just community.mendeley.com/guides, where you can find videos and tutorials and other help guides to help you get started using Mendeley. And of course, if you have any questions or need further help, you can always email us or contact us here at the library. The best way is our email address, just library@usa.edu. Or of course, you can always go in person and see the library staff on your campus. We're always happy to help you anytime. A final thing just to mention is a reminder that we do have on the libraries page on MyUSA, we have a referencing page. This is where the link to Mendeley lives and tutorials, as well as links to maybe Zotero if you want to check out differences between Zotero and Mendeley to help you decide which one to use. And also we have our AMA and APA style guides on this page as well. So again, please don't hesitate to contact us at library@usa.edu or in person if you have any questions about using Mendeley. Thank you.